What is up, you guys? So we just got 3 new Drake albums, guys. And I'd say I gave all 3 of these albums about 3 listens each. And this is where I'm at right about now. First off, guys, let me just go and start off by saying how I was blown away that Drake really dropped 3 albums. I'm not the biggest Drake fan, you know what I mean, out there. But I grew up on Drake, and I respect Drake. And with all the shit that's been going on the past couple years with the accusations and the disses and the fallouts, I was, really curious on what he has to say on IceMan. And I was thinking he was going to freeze his opponent, Sub-Zero style, Mortal Kombat. Get over here! Well, that's Scorpion, but, Sub-Zero, he can bring it too, you know what I mean? So with IceMan, I was like, all right, I haven't seen it. He hasn't dropped the artwork. No, the track listing has yet to be released. So what are we going to get here, guys? Was refreshing YouTube. All of a sudden, I saw Maid of Honor. And I was like, dude, I think this is an AI glitch. No fucking way right here. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? But although it looked true because I saw his mom, his dad, and baby Drake on the cover. So I was like, you know what? This fucking does seem like something Drake would do. Drake's always doing that stuff. He'll put his dad on the cover of More Life. He'll put baby Drake on Nothing Was the Same. And all of these things, So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? This has to be true. Then I believe it was Hibachi was the next one I saw. And I was like, you know what? Okay, again, this looks like a cover that Drake would use. You got this pretty girl on the cover, really edited. Also callbacks to dark tapes. The one with Drake, Again, I know the tape, but, there's so many names. But anyways, guys, so I checked out Hibachi, heard the first song, and I heard guitar. And then I heard Drake's voice. And I was like, you know what? Even if this is AI, this is fucking trippy rare. Because I've yet to really hear Drake on a guitar song. I'm telling you, that really stood out to me right there. I don't really hear much people talking about that. Now, I'm sure he probably has, but I can't think of one off the dome. That is some Lil Wayne type shit right there to hop on these guitars and stuff like that. Now, I'm not talking metal guitars like Lil Wayne was doing on I Am Not a Human Being too. But this just sounded like smooth like, and I really dig this lane that Drake can go into. So I was like, I heard a little bit of that off my phone speaker, and I was like, okay, I really think this is the real deal. But where's IceMan? Was refreshing, and a couple moments later, saw the cover. Michael Jackson's glove, diamonds. Okay, this is IceMan. That is Drake. I know it is. That is something, and I didn't know that was Michael Jackson's glove. That's a fucking plus right there. So, that is Drake and Michael Jackson. So, I think that's really cool how Drake put Michael Jackson's glove right after the release of the Michael film, paying homage, also showing people that he's at MJ status right about now, where I believe he also just broke Michael Jackson's record for the most, hit singles and all like these things. So, that is something Drake will do. And before we get into the music, guys, the impact of this right here, the impact of the music in general, the impact of dropping 3 albums, is showing his opponents, which is like, guys, I'm this fucking unstoppable juggernaut that you guys cannot fuck with. Yeah, I'm sure you can drop albums that people will, turn up to, diss me like LeBron James behind my back, stabbing me behind my back. You'll fucking turn up to those songs. But can any of you guys drop 3 albums and make it all on the fucking charts? No. If these fools would have dropped 3 albums, I'm telling you, people would have got tired of probably song 10 and called off the other 2 albums. Drake is the only Drake is the only person that can pull off that shit right there. I'm telling you. It's his status. Now, I'm not talking so much his music, where his music, he can drop 3 albums worth, and I'm telling you, I could play all 3 in this, whatever, because I've been seeing, like, academics almost falling asleep. What's that other live streamer? I don't really know these streamers, guys. Playboy Max or something. I checked out his full reaction to the Drake videos, and he was just even saying how, I love Drake, that's my boy, all this stuff, but a lot of these songs, it just seems like he's putting shit out just to put out. And I saw where he was coming from. I saw a little bit of Aiden Ross's reaction, but that was like on my 3rd listen. And honestly, I was like, you know what? A lot of these songs, I'm just going to go ahead and just share my reaction instead of watching what other people think right about now. So I was like, you know what? So I have my thoughts. I have my thoughts on the albums. Like I said, guys, I gave them multiple listens because I'm like, you know what? I'm probably jumping into this too quick. And, so let me just go ahead and, just marinate these listens just a little bit more. Also, I've been seeing that a lot of people were saying why would he squash the beef with Future, not J. Cole and all these things? And the disses, guys, the disses on these things. I'm telling you, man, it's pretty fucked up back in the day that Drake was working with everybody popular and everyone popular was working with Drake. The Game, Rick Ross, French Montana, Lil Wayne, Tyga. Well, probably not Tyga, but well, possibly. And, you know, just all these artists that are just, you know, Meek Mill even at the time, and they all have these fallouts. Now, I know artists have fallouts, guys. It's really common in the rap industry and hip hop, all these things, but to have these fallouts with the biggest artists of the world and to have these, you know, call outs and beefs publicly with one another causes for some, you know, well, some great music, you know, first of all. And, you know, just like these stunts that really just like, I mean, really just ain't worth it, man. I really think that Kendrick Lamar diss song wasn't even that good. And the fact that people were blasting it at the Super Bowl, all these things, LeBron James worshiping the fucking song, where it's just dissing his friend at the time, Drake, and all these things, like, it's pretty, you know, so that's why I was like, okay, you know what? Drake has to fucking come back with something, because the fact that this song's all over the world, I mean, Super Bowl, people that probably don't even fucking know Kendrick Lamar or even that song are like forced to hear it now. So I was like, Drake, okay, you know, I want you just to come back strong, man. You know what I mean? Because I know what you're capable of. You got these bars, you can sing, and your status, all this stuff, you know what I mean? So just, I want you just to kill these motherfuckers with richness, right? So, long story short, guys, I don't think he did that. I don't think he really did that, guys. I'm telling you. I really think that if Drake would have fucking brought what he did with If You're Reading This, It's Too Late on IceMan, that would have been different. I really think the responses, not necessarily the responses, but the attitude and the lyrics and just the meanness, the brutality on If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I remember when that album came out, guys, you know, I was in high school, and that fucking threw me for a loop. It was a surprise album. And just by reading that cover, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, I figured it was going to be something rough, not sensual like the R&B stuff, although there was a little bit on there. But I honestly, guys, that album is mostly straightforward, just getting your shit off. You know what I mean? Letting motherfuckers know how you really feel. This album right here, IceMan, guys, I'm not going to lie, like, these fucking songs, like, really felt that, like, you know that feeling where shit feels done, but, like, let's say if you have this movie Maid, and then all of a sudden you just hear about the news that people are very into aliens, right? Or something like that. There's all of a sudden alien popular, you know, aliens are popular. Your movie's done, but you're like, guys, I'm just going to squeeze in some aliens in there just for the fuck of it because it's popular and that's what the people want, right? I mean, it's popular. I mean, it's trending. Why not? And then squeeze in these things. You watch the movie and you feel like, where the fuck did those aliens come from? It doesn't really fit. Like, everything was going well. It seemed like you had this whole theme and package all of a sudden, you know, just fucking ready to go and set. And then you squeeze in these aliens and they just fuck up the program. You know what I mean? It's just like throwing something to fuck up the rhythm, you know? It's kind of like if all of a sudden you're watching Insidious and instead of like those tiptoe through the window, like they're playing some, It's a Party in the USA. I don't know. I'm probably getting all fucking mixed up, guys. But either way, what I'm saying is that these songs really felt that they were done, but Drake was kind of just squeezing in some current disses. Where like these songs were kind of like whatever, but he's like, and then you'll throw in like maybe some current lines. I don't know, like these songs, guys, like this IceMan just really felt like an album that like, although the lyrics and, you know, the references were there, it doesn't seem like nothing really changed. Like, I was expecting a stronger impact, at least for IceMan. I thought that, you know what, Maid of Honor and Hibachi, if I'm saying that right, guys, I'm really, you know, not quite sure. And IceMan, okay, these other two are going to be what they are. Hibachi, Maid of Honor. But I thought IceMan was going to be this fucking strong thing where it's like, all right, dude, you know, this is a Drake that we haven't heard. He is pissed. He is loud, like Meek Mill loud, getting your shit off. And these songs like literally sound you like, you know, you went in the fucking booth right after this stuff happened. And although, yes, guys, there's a couple of songs on here where, yeah, like, you know, they're current. But I don't know, guys, really, like, I just find it kind of strange that the biggest artist of the world is going at it with Kendrick, and I'm not gonna lie, like that was a pretty crazy beef right there. Like Kendrick is nowhere on the status of Drake, But the impact of his diss and beef was fucking like high level for Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how he managed to pull that off. Because, like, before this diss, how many Kendrick fans were there? You know, I dig a couple of Kendrick songs, but, you know, growing up and looking back, I mean, there's nothing really too worthy of, like, today, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, I felt kind of bummed out when I kind of went into this because I felt for these streamers too, where they're listening to these songs and they're like, fuck, dude, like a lot of these songs kind of sound the same. And there's very few highlights. That's how I also felt on this thing, guys. You know, getting into Maid of Honor, the album, first of all, let me go and say, guys, Maid of Honor was the first one I listened to, and that album is probably my favorite out of the three, surprisingly. I never would have thought that. I'm expecting IceMan, let's do this shit. And then he drops 3 albums, and IceMan's probably gonna be like my least favorite type shit. It was fucking weird. So, checked out Maid of Honor, found some highlights on there. Which one was Central C? I think that one right there, guys, is a pretty good highlight. I like the beat, the bass. There's like 2 songs in one. You got Central C on the feature for the first half, and then Dre goes into like this, you know, more live type of vibe on the second half, which I really dug that song right there. I think that one right there is going to hold up. Good vibes on that, especially Central C's part. I like that you know, accent he has. It really just gives like these songs their own flavor. And another one, guys, I really dig is Cheetah Print. I think Cheetah Print is a funny ass song right there. That shit threw me for a loop at first, and I had to remind myself, this is Drake. You know, remember, you're listening to Drake, okay? Because, you know, if this was somebody else, I would have been like, dude, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, taking that beat that we've all heard in elementary school, like, 2 hops this time, bam, bam, 2 hops this time, bam, slide to the left, bam, slide to the right. All these things, and I was like, all right, dude, this shit is pretty funny. And, but like I said, that's something Drake would do. And I know that shit's going to be trendy all over the place. I know it is, just by the just the cheesiness, yet the creativeness. It's something that Drake can just pull off. And you get those that because it's Drake, it's cool. And you get those because, you know, it's, you know, a new song or whatever, and it's sexy with Sexy Red, it's cool. Now, honestly, guys, I've got to check out Sexy Red stuff, but hearing her on this song, she actually does sound pretty good. You know, like, she has like this Meg Thee Stallion type of vibe to her, which is, but I think that she pulls it off pretty cool. You know, I think her and Drake have like this cool chemistry where I really feel like if they were even to drop like a collab album, I'd probably dig it because just the chemistry that they have, like, you know, in and out the studio, I see them. They look really comfortable with one another, so that's good. So another one, guys, well, for the most part, guys, the album Maid of Honor is not a perfect album. I just found some highlights on there, and I felt that, you know, this album is a pretty good album to play when you're with the chicks, house vibes, a little bit of turnt vibes, and, you know, things of that nature. So I was like, you know what, this one right here is actually pretty cool. I dig this stuff right here. You know, it wasn't nothing too mean. And that's what threw me off, because when I was listening to it, I was like, dude, this sounds nothing like a Response album. Like, this sounds like some shit that, like nothing even happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of that shit happened. I'm not beefing with anybody. There's no responses. So I was like, all right, these are some good vibes. Getting into IceMan. IceMan was the one I listened to next because I had to squeeze that one in next for the hype. I had to, you know, wait for Hibachi. Although I did hear the intro to Hibachi and knew there was going to be guitars. And I was fucking psyched for that. So, checked out IceMan, guys. And I was like, you know what? I'm about 10 songs in right now. And I don't know what the fuck he's really doing, guys. I was a little disappointed. Now, there's a couple on here. I like that one where it was something, I think the title is like Shut the Fuck Up or STFU or something like that, where he's like, for real. And I went and bought a whip for my brother. But 2 different colors. Or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty fucking solid. And there's a couple solid ones on here, guys. It was cool to hear that future. Back to hear that they, you know, squashed their, you know, their beef and whatnot. Because honestly, guys, like, when it comes to Drake and Future, they were like 2 of my favorites back in the day, you know. And I really dug that album that they dropped back in the day. And although it doesn't really hold up today, guys, I listened to that Drake and Future collab album a couple weeks ago, and I gotta say, a lot of those songs sound fucking dated, especially Big Rings. I got a lot of big things, a lot of big things. I was like, man, this song sounds fucking dated. Man. Especially that Lil Wayne remix. Even worse. And I'm a big fan of all three of them. But anyways, guys, actually, I'm not going to lie. That Diamonds Dancing, that song still holds up. You know what I mean? That one right there still holds up till this day. But for the most part, yeah, you know what I mean? Shit just faded in, you know. I thought that was going to be the best album ever invented. And speaking of that, the artwork to that album, guys, is pure diamonds. Pure diamonds. That would have been a good artwork for IceMan. But I'm not going to lie. That's pretty cool that Drake was paying homage to MJ with that glove and stuff. That's pretty bitchin', can't lie. So, you know, but for the most part, guys, I gotta say that this album right here, not only to me was it kind of like lacking, because check this out, guys. Although I know that Drake's best work, to me, has been like 10, 15 years. When I got into Drake, the first song I ever heard by him was Successful. And I really prefer Take Care, albums like Take Care, you know, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, things of that nature. So by listening to Drake today, I've also really noticed that he's changed. His music's changed, his style has changed, and things of that nature. And I just really think, guys, that Drake, nothing is going to knock him out of his signature style. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what happens, who he's with, who he's working with. If there's a song that is dropped and it says Drake is on it, it's going to sound like a Drake song no matter fucking what. And to me, guys, I prefer that Drake sound, unfortunately, that shit that he was doing back in like 2013 to, you know, 20. I give it to like maybe I was digging that shit from probably like 2010 to like 2016. You know what I mean? That 6-year gap or whatnot. Maybe a little longer and all that stuff too. But guys, I'm telling you, like, just like the style of what Drake has just been doing, I'm like, dude, you know, I really think that he shouldn't have made this album all about Kendrick and the disses. I get that, but I just think that it would have been fucking dope if all this music he dropped and IceMan particularly was like this pure fucking diss hate album. That was like just as crystal as the album cover, if you know what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these songs, guys, really did feel lackluster, and that's coming from not so much a big like Drake fan, but a lot of these fucking Drake superhero fans will agree, you know, that not quite sure what's going on here. Now, the impact is cool, dropping these 3 albums and so much music to marinate us with, you know, But was it to marinate us with or to get out of his record deal? Probably both. But either way, guys, I gotta say that, you know what, when it comes to, I just really think that IceMan in particular, which was the most anticipated project by Drake, I think that should have been fucking killer. Killer, like just Michael Myers status. But I found more highlights on like albums like Maid of Honor. Now, Hibachi, I may have to give another listen to, but I found that one just really like vibey and just purely more sensual with like, you know, features from Party Next Door and things like, you know, like that. And it's also cool to hear, you know, Drake and Party, you know what I mean? Like that album, you know, some sexy songs, all that stuff. I think Drake and Party are really cool together. Seriously, they just do that R&B, them sensual vibes, fucking just pure like, just make it just cake work. And 21 Savage, they can bring those vibes. And they can bring vibes and those lyrical abilities. I like when 21 Savage and Drake combine too. They fucking kill it, especially on Her Loss. That shit was pretty solid. But with IceMan, man, guys, I'm not gonna lie. This shit, you know, yeah, you're right. It did feel a little cold. Did feel a little cold, guys. A little hollow. You know what I mean? Nothing too fire. Nothing too fire. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, guys. You know, like I said, that feature was okay. But honestly, like, again, I'm not going to lie. I really think that you could have pulled songs back from that Future and Drake tape back in the day, or any Drake and Future feature. You know, imagine saying, you know, that two times fast. Future feature. But anyways, guys, you can pull up anyone in the past, and it's going to be better than what was on that album. I really wasn't the biggest fan of that song right there. And I'm also not the biggest fan of what Future's, how he cut off his dreads, all that shit. He shouldn't have done that. I think that, there are some things that some artists just shouldn't do, and that should just maintain. Like Lil Wayne, you know what I mean? Keeping his dreads up. If Lil Wayne shaved his head and did something, he would stand out type shit, But, guys, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Drake. It's Drizzy. And unfortunately, guys, what bothers me, like how I said he changed, is because I don't think that we're going to get that classical Drizzy Drake sound that he was doing. Now, I get it. That was 10, 15 years ago, a long time ago. Time changes. But I just really think, guys, one, this is the biggest artist in the fucking world. Two, he's, probably like the most richest artist in the world, too. Three, and, I just think that this fucking music really just sounds like some other ordinary artist. Really. These beat selections really aren't too, crazy sounding where it's like, dude, this sounds like it's from the fucking biggest artist in the world. No, it really sounds like some beats that probably Lil Durk would use, or some fucking Sean Kingston would use, or Playboy Cardi would use, or, the same old artists would use, Yeet would use, everyone would use, all these things, right? Nothing really spectacular. Now, the beats that were on Take Care, that was fucking dope. Practice. Over My Dead Body. Now, speaking of that, I was listening to a little bit of Take Care after the 3 albums, and I was like, dude, this was the shit. This is what made you the biggest artist in the fucking world. These albums right here, Take Care. Take Care, Nothing Was a Saving. If you're reading this, it's too late. Thank Me Later. This is what, So Far Gone. His fucking features were just like, just crazy. Pop that, don't stop. Back in the day, it was like every fucking song that was popping, Drake was on. Fuck it, I'm on one. Like, you name it, he was doing She Will with Lil Wayne. Long as my bitches love me. All like that shit, you know what I mean? I mean, you fucking name it, he was doing it. But yeah, guys, so I was like, man, these fucking songs still hold up till this day. Practice, Over My Dead Body. Cameras. I am me. About the team. Hey, that whole album right there, guys, I'm telling you. There's some shit on Views, too. I fuck with Views. And also Scorpions. Scorpion, but, yeah, guys, so with this one right here, I really gotta say, guys, IceMan's probably not gonna be an album I'm gonna be coming back to. It's probably not going to be an album I'm going to be coming back to. That's why I gave this album multiple listens, because I was like, you know what? I hope it's not just my mood. I hope it's not just probably technical difficulties, whatever it is. But I was like, you know what, guys? I solidified my opinion. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, and I think Drake's going to go down this lane, which is probably going to be for his diehard fans. But you know what? For people like me that are a little on and off with Drake, it's not really some shit to pull me into, you know what I mean? He's not really just anchoring me in. I pulled up these albums by choice. You know what I mean? I kind of knew. I kind of knew that I was like, you know what, dude? You know what, my guy? You're probably not gonna dig all 3 of these albums, but you know what? It's worth the listen. It's the biggest artist of the world, and I make music, and I wanted to compare and see where he was at and what the biggest artist of the world is cooking up compared to what I'm doing. And, artists are always gonna tell themselves my shit's better. Because honestly, guys, I gotta say, some of the beats I've been making, I'm like, dude, you should have put this on your album. First of all, because it's produced by me. And, just some scary vibes, baby. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with them scary vibes. So, yeah, guys, honestly, I gotta say, man, I will be coming back to Maid of Honor. There's some shit on Hibachi that I actually did, dig and all that stuff. Like, those slow vibes are pretty solid. But for the most part, guys, IceMan is going to be probably one that, I'm probably not going to be coming back to. Nothing too much, nothing too crazy. I did, that shit was hella funny, guys, when Drake was dissing Joe Budden. Now, the song wasn't on the album. I believe the song was like 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. in Albuquerque or something like that. But he was dissing Joe Budden, saying that he was like, hey, while you're sleepwalking naked in your hotel, I'm with your wife, giving her the time of her life. She's coming through the double gates, while you over here fucking walking around naked being an idiot. And Joe Budden was like, fuck, man, I'm so glad that he didn't release that as a diss, man, because, Joe Budden knew, man. He fucked up, and that's like an easy topic right there to fuck with Joe on. And Joe Budden's a funny ass dude, man. I'm telling you. And Joe Budden was pretty much implying where he's like, "I'm so glad Drake didn't release that, man, because that would have fucked me up right there. Like that would have been a good shot, you know. That would have been a headshot," is what Joe Budden was implying. Oh shit, man. The fact that Drake made this song and didn't even release it and don't even have to do this shit, like, really just shows his status where he's like, Drake goes out of his way, makes these fucking songs, but then just keeps them in the vault because I think that's even funnier, guys, where he's like, you know what? You're not even fucking worth it, dude. I'm not even gonna just put this song on the album and diss you. You know, I got some other opponents on this shit that are, you know, that I'd rather address than you type shit. I really think that's really what it was. Because, you know, if Drake really wanted to get his shit off, he could have really released that song and probably took out another one or whatever, or just maybe added that one and type shit, whatever it is. But I think that shit was funny. Even people on the Joe Budden podcast, his own boys, were like, dude, Drake needs to drop that, man. I hope he does. And I was like, fuck, man, even your own boys are hyping up a diss track up against, you know, against you. But now, guys, you know, either way, you know, like I said, not the biggest Drake fan, but I always respect him, hold the memories, all these things. And, you know, it's actually been a while before I bumped some Drake. You know, I'm more of like the rock guy, all this stuff. But you know what? I love all music. You know, I love all hip hop, rap, rock, alternative, industrial, electronic, movie scores, you know, instrumental beats, you know, interludes, you name it, guys, soundscapes. I mean, all this shit. I mean, it's just all fucking awesome to me. Music's music, and, you know, as long as it's just good music, that is some good music right there, you know? So, but unfortunately, I think the music that's on all three of these albums, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I think out of the percentage that Drake, all the songs that Drake dropped, I think the percentage that I liked are probably like 15%. 15% I can get down to out of these songs. I'm telling you guys, like, I mean, there are some highlights, but I mean, now out of these albums, I'd let Maid of Honor play from top to bottom. You know, I found some moments on there where I was like, you know, I can catch myself just letting this album possibly play. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of all these songs, but they're not fucking terrible and skippable. But a lot of the songs I did find on fucking IceMan, I was like, all right, dude, I'm telling you. I don't think it was so much where I was like, because I listen to a lot of fucking music. I'm telling you, I listen to a lot of music. And I think that some of the songs, you know, I don't think it was so much where I was like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm drunk, I can't anymore. It was more of just like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm about 7 songs in on IceMan, 6 songs in, and kind of fucking over it. Kind of fucking over it, man. I guarantee this next song is gonna sound like this. Bing ding ding bing ding ding. Next song comes in. Bing ding ding bing ding ding bing ding ding, or something like that. And I'm like, oh gosh, I mean, I knew it, I told you. And also, I was like, man, nothing's fucking hyping me up. Like, I mean, now Drake, it's good and bad, man. It's good to have that consistency of your albums where it's like, you know, you have this flow where it's like nothing is like, you know, it's like a scatter piece where like 1 minute we're turnt, 1 minute we're crying, 1 minute we're lit, you know, it's an instrumental beat. Next minute it's party vibes. Like next minute it's rapping. Next minute, all these things. So, but I really just felt it, but Drake's consistency is really well done. He's great at that shit. That's why when it comes to Drake albums right there, they don't really, they're always consistent. They don't ever really feel like out of place type shit. They're always good about that. But I think with him dropping these 3 albums, guys, yeah, that fucking consistency was a little overwhelming after a while. Just to kind of know what you're going to get every fucking time. Now, I know that sounds like such a bash, all this shit, but really, guys, when I was listening to IceMan, I was like, fuck, man. And it's like the same type of flow and all these things, and I kind of found myself, the song I liked the most from Drake was the most simplistic flow you can think of. For real. And I went and bought a whip for my brother. Same one, but 2 different colors. I was like, dude, is this really like a good fucking song, or is this just like the best one on the album? Because the shit I like from Drake, he ain't doing this. He's really bringing it. But yeah, guys, you know, so other than that, you know, either way, I'm always going to be coming back to Take Care. I'm always going to be checking out. If you're reading this, it's too late. I dig some tracks from Views, 9, you know, Keep the Family Close. Hotline Bling. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, guys, like, yeah, there's some fucking bangers on some, on some past Drake albums, really. But this one right here, guys, fuck, man, it's unfortunate because I see a lot of his fans really just saying this is the end of Drake. It's done. It's over, because this is where we're at. This is the lane we're at. He's pretty much just retiring in this lane. But you know what, guys? If that's what Drake wants to do, he solidified his career. He's just he's gonna keep doing his thing. Nothing's gonna faze him, and it seems like he's found his lane. But honestly, guys, I don't think there's going to be anything to which, when I say that, it's fine because I know that's what artists are supposed to do, find the lane and just pursue that. But it just kind of bums me out because I'm like, no fucking experimental shit. I guarantee we're not going to get from Drake. It just seems like a lot of these things he does, it's just what everyone knew was doing. Like, I mean, honestly, like a lot of these beats sound like something that Yeet would use. And that's my point where it's like, I mean, you're supposed to be the godfather of like these newer artists. And you got like these fucking, newer artists kind of like, doing this flow that Drake is doing better than him, most would say. I guarantee that there's some like, fans of Yeet that like Yeet more than Drake. But I'm telling you guys, like, even though, I don't even know Yeet, but I just know that these newer artists, all that shit, and I kind of hear some of their music, and I'm like, dude, this really sounds like, Playboy Cardi, all that stuff and I don't like that shit, man. I don't like how the biggest artist of the world is kind of like doing like a trendy thing. You're the biggest artist, man. You can literally fucking make your own sound like 9 Inch Nails. That's why I love 9 Inch Nails. That's why it's one of my favorite bands, because 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, he made his own fucking type of music genre. Now it was out there, but he combined like industrial with lovable lyrics like The Cure. Like, it's kind of cool. It's like combining like this chaotic ass beat and fucking distortion and explosions going off, machine guns, but you're talking about like, I wanna fuck you like animal, all these things. And that is some, just inventing, making new shit, all these things, so audiences can just fucking dig into it. Now, one thing, guys, I also want to point out that this is what I really respect this from Drake, guys. I really do, is that any artists that are listening to the album on YouTube, he's going to go ahead and restrict any kind of copyright. So YouTube, all those times you like to fuck people over for what they do and listening to just music, when I'm telling you guys where it's like, I mean, come on now. I mean, these songs are on fucking YouTube, and I don't see why we got to get copyrighted when we're listening to these songs that are on this program of YouTube, and yet that when we're enjoying content that is on the app that we're using, it's just like, oh yeah, fucking copyright check, all these things. It's like, dude, how? I found this on your app. Fuck you doing? You should copyright yourself, YouTube. But that is a dope thing right there from Drake. That is awesome right there. Thinking of the YouTubers, thinking of the streams. You know what I mean? He just wants people to literally just have fun and just, flood just everywhere with Drake reactions and all this stuff as much as possible. Now, shout out to Drake, because he's about those YouTubers and those streamers, man. He knows where we're coming from. He knows the copyright shits that we have to deal with. The hassle it is of just, being a streamer and just having to deal with that shit, man. When you want to just genuinely just enjoy music and show your reactions and genuosity and make music and share the love and talk about music with others like a community. But YouTube doesn't want to fucking do that, even though YouTube has a YouTube community. But what kind of YouTube community are you providing if we can't even have a musical community for us fans? Come on now. YouTube, you want your own community, but us fans, we want our own community, all right? You stay over there, YouTube, we stay over here. Us fans, we, differentiate yourself from YouTube, okay? But anyways, guys, I'm telling you, IceMan, these 3 albums, it is what it is, guys. It's awesome that he dropped 3 albums. You know what I mean? That's pretty fucking awesome right there. It really is. I mean, that right there is a pretty fucking awesome thing to do. I think that right there alone is better than the music. Seriously. That right there. What other artist has done that shit? Now, I hear that, I believe that one of the guys in Suicide Boys is dropping a fucking 60-song album or something like that. Now, that is an artist right there that is, I don't think he really should be doing that. I'm not the biggest SB fan. But, man, you know what I mean? If that's what his fans want, fucking go for it. But, yeah, man, that right there is just fucking crazy right there. But you know what? For artists like Drake, for all the shit that he's been through and all the disses and all the answers and the spotlight on him. And I know how hard he's been working on IceMan and all this shit. I think that's pretty awesome, guys, just to fucking hit us over the head, like just literally just snowing us. That sounds a little wrong, but it's snowing IceMan, just flooding the fucking streets with snow, which is fucking Drake content. I think that's pretty solid right there, guys. He really threw me for a loop, particularly me, with IceMan, Hibachi, and Maid of Honor, all three of these. But you know what? The music content wasn't the greatest. Probably stretched that enough through this fucking video. But you know what, guys? Still going to be a Drake fan. Still going to go ahead and, check out the classics, all these things, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, still going to have love for Drake, you know what I mean? Just a childhood favorite, you know what I mean? Just put me on a lot of R&B vibes, sensual vibes, the lyrical capabilities, just the fun, the nostalgic fun I have with the past Drake experiences of listening to those tunes. Just fucking good times, man. Good times going on field trips, back in the day, and, when I was just younger and shit like that, just getting into, Jersey Drake, But anyways, guys, these three albums right here, I don't think it's going to be anything I'm going to be rushing back to, but you know what, if I hear them and, just chilling or something like that, and people play them, or, if I'm just needing some background noise or some richness or something like that, again, if I want to play some Drake, probably won't come back to these, but definitely will, still be checking out some Drake. You can't go wrong with some Drake. But guys, thanks for sticking with me on this one right here. Let me know what you think of these three albums right here. Now, I feel like I'm saying Hibachi wrong, but you know what? It seems like a word Drake would say, Hibachi. But guys, yeah, you know what I mean? Let me know what you think of these three albums right here, guys. With the three releases, I don't think we're going to get probably fucking, music from Drake probably for like 3 years. 3 years, 4 years, who knows, with this amount of music right here. Although he is an independent artist, he can probably do whatever the fuck he wants and all these things now. But you know what? I feel that like with all this music, and especially with probably the criticisms he's probably getting with, not too much love, which I'm sure he was hoping for on this album, because I notice a lot of people are bashing, these works, on these albums. So, but, that could give Drake a chance to turn around and maybe provide us with some old school classics. Who knows, guys? Maybe this criticism could get to him and get under his skin, and we could get a fucking Take Care Part 2, because that's what I need right about now. Anyways, guys, thanks for sticking with me on this one. Drake, 3 albums, Maid of Honor, Hibachi, IceMan. What do you think of them? And what is your favorite out of the 3? Are you a Take Care guy? Thank me later. So far gone? If you're reading this, it's too late. Scorpion, IceMan, you name it, guys. Let me know. Till next time, deuces. And I don't know about you, but it's fucking hot outside. I'm staying warm. All right? Drake, you can be IceMan. I'm being fireman. I'm providing that heat. Because this shit, you're right, is cold. And how hot it is outside. I know he was trying to probably cool us down, but he did. He cooled us down, but you know what? We need that hotness, baby. We need that hotness, that fiery shit, man. We need that Ghost Rider, that Scorpion. Anyways, guys, stay tuned. Till next time. Deuces!